Hi friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. My name is Caitlin, and we had our first technical mishap. About 2 weeks ago, I got a new microphone, and I was really excited to use it. Over the weekend, I filmed 2 videos with this microphone, and apparently it died, and none of the videos have sound. So that kind of sucks. Well, that really sucks because I did a peach preserving video, and then I brought you guys along when I planted my fall plants. So you can't really do a lot with no sound. so, so we're gonna do kind of a summation video today to make up for those 2 videos that I lost. So the first thing before we go outside, I do want to show you the fall plants that I started and do like an impromptu garden walk, and then I want to show you the peaches that I did as well. So when we did our fall planting, we were able to harvest a couple of things from the garden. So we did a little harvest. The first thing was we were able to harvest cabbages. I have 2 cabbages. Now, if you were with me this whole time, this whole season, I really struggled with slugs. So I lost a lot of my brassicas to slugs very early on. So it's the middle of August, and I just harvested 2 cabbages. That is unheard of. And I actually have 1 cauliflower out there that I need to harvest maybe today. So I left the plants in there that survived and that restarted to grow, and I was able to get at least a little bit of a cabbage out of them. So I got 2 little cabbages. I do preserve cabbage. I make coleslaw, I make pickled cabbage, I make sauerkraut, but these 2 are just so small. I'm just going to use these for fresh eating, so we need to get these cleaned up today. And then I was also able to do a decent little tomato harvest. So we were hit by Hurricane Debbie. Today's Tuesday. We got hit by Hurricane Debbie on Wednesday. So I'm going to take you out, and you can see maybe some of the remnants of what Hurricane Debbie did to my vegetables. It actually wasn't bad for us where I was. Other areas around me got hit a lot harder than us, or than me. So I'm sending my prayers out to everyone else that this hurricane affected. But for me, I just got rain. We got about 10 inches of rain. And we were in a drought, a very significant drought. So I'll take the 10 inches of rain. I'm here for it. I'm happy about it. It was great. The drought has ended, which is fantastic. But what it did do is it burst every single one of my cherry tomatoes. My tomatoes were loaded with tomatoes, and it burst every single one. So I'll show you what we did there to deal with that. But luckily, the tomatoes that I didn't get to harvest before Hurricane Debbie, they weren't even really blushing. I was able to harvest 2 days later, and they didn't split. None of my big tomatoes split. So that's a huge blessing. I don't even know honestly how that was possible with 10 inches of rain. But what I did is my girlfriend harvested her tomatoes the day after Debbie, and she also got 10 inches of rain. And she's like, my tomatoes just, and she made tomato sauce out of them. And she's like, my tomato sauce doesn't have a lot of flavor. And what you have to do, and I do say this on other videos, but this is why it's so important. And so she made her tomato sauce. It doesn't have flavor, so she was adding tomato paste into her tomato sauce. I think it was canned tomato paste in order to give it flavor. You have to let your tomatoes dry out. So what I did, Hurricane Debbie hit on Friday. I didn't pick these tomatoes until Sunday. So Saturday and Sunday and Friday afternoon, even the hurricane was through us by about 2 o'clock on Friday, and then it got sunny. But all day Saturday and all day Sunday, it was in the upper 80s. So it was able to kind of help evaporate some of that water from the tomatoes. I've eaten some of these tomatoes. I made a caprese salad yesterday, and it was delicious. So when your tomatoes get a lot of water, if you can't harvest them before they're going to get a lot of water, after they get a lot of water, let them sit on the vine. Don't pick them for at least a day or 2, and then go pick them in the hottest part of the day. And that's going to help evaporate some of that excess water that you're going to have in your plants. The other thing that we did that my videos didn't show is we got peaches, and we canned peaches. And so I'm actually really upset because we canned the peaches outside. I have a new setup. It's a very temporary setup that I set up an outdoor burner. I have my dad years ago got me an electric skillet, or I guess it's an electric burner. So I could put a skillet on and cook outside. So I was able to can all my peach products outside. It was a beautiful day on Sunday, and especially in the shade. It was so comfortable outside. And then we didn't heat up the kitchen in order to do these products. But I brought you guys along, and that's no longer usable. So what I'm going to show you, and I'll put a clip here just to give you a little idea of what I was talking about when I said I had an outdoor setup. My goal at my forever farm is I want to have a legitimate outdoor kitchen, complete with a roof, countertops, the whole 9 yards. That is a goal, and then use it often. I really am getting more used to and I guess better at setting up outside, so I'm not heating up my house. And so I want to make that a thing, especially because it's so fun to cook outside. It's so cool. It's so nice. So I really do like it.
So this is my outdoor setup. It's not pretty, but it is very functional, and it felt really nice to be out here working. I have an outdoor burner, and then I have this big burner that's a flame, and this works great for putting my water bath canner on here, so I'm not heating up my house.
So we did peaches. So these are just sliced peaches in syrup. All you do is if you want to peel your peaches very easily, you boil them for about 2 minutes, and then the peach skin slides right off. I then chopped these up, and I made a simple syrup with, I believe it was 3 cups of sugar and 5 cups of water. And that makes, 3 cups of sugar, 5 cups of water, and that makes about 7 cups of simple syrup. You pour on top, and then you water bath these for, I believe, pints I did 20 minutes. And then for sliced peaches, you can do so much with. Eat them as sliced peaches, turn them into peach cobbler, put them on ice cream, put them on pancakes, put them on waffles. But you can also, my favorite way to do this is I open this, drain this. You can save that simple peach syrup for making cocktails, put it in water if you like flavored water, put it in iced tea. The simple syrup you can use, don't throw that away. But then the peaches, I just put in a baking dish, and I top with a crumble of brown sugar, butter, and oatmeal, and make like this just delicious topping. And then you put pads of butter on top and bake it for like 40 minutes. So good, and it's so simple. That's one of my favorite ways to enjoy these peaches. I also then this year did peach butter, except I stopped it and now it's just like peach sauce. So there is a recipe for peach butter similar to apple butter. You let the peach product cook down until it's thick like butter. I 100% started that process, and I tasted it along the way, and it is so good. So let me find the other one here. So I did 2 different kinds, and if you can see the different colors, I did one just regular peaches. So all it was is I had a little bit of leftover simple syrup, added a whole bunch of peaches too, a little bit of sugar, pureed it, cooked it, and then pureed it and let it cook down a little bit more. And that's this product here. This is dynamite. This is dynamite. I just ate it on yogurt with granola this morning. I'm thinking on ice cream, on waffles, on pancakes, on like scones. This peach puree on baked oatmeal, this peach puree is really, really fantastic. And then I made a second batch, just a little bit smaller, with some spices. So this has some vanilla and some cinnamon in it, and they're both equally delicious. So these are 2 new products that I made for my shelf this year. And like I said, I already put it on yogurt, and it is fantastic. And then because peaches are coming in right now, I don't need any, so I'm not going to be doing any. But every year, or not every year, I always make sure I have a Chipotle peach barbecue sauce on the shelf. That is so, so, so delicious on some chicken, on some ribs. So delicious. And I think that goes really good. Like the Chipotle peach barbecue sauce on like chicken, I think goes really well with cheese. So like macaroni and cheese or cheesy grits. I think those make a really good pairing. And then I also do, that I always have on my shelves, is a peach spiced peaches. It's spiced peaches. So I cut the peaches into like cubes or like little triangles, and I spice them, cinnamon, nutmeg, vanilla, cook them down, and then I can them as like a spiced peaches. So then I can use that ingredient for pies, like a peach pie filling really. I can use it for pies. I can use it for hand pies. I use it for peach cobbler a lot. I a lot of times just eat that as a side, spiced peaches as a side to go with like chicken and green beans or something like that. So it's just like a side dish. So those are the things that I mainly do with my peaches. The other thing that I did with the leftovers is, I think the sound worked for this video. I think I switched microphones. And so I'm pretty sure I have a video here. I'm going to insert just a clip of it here. When you do fruit products, so when you make your peach products, when you make your apple products, applesauce, whatever, you have those cores and you have those skins left over. If you can those products, if you process those, well, not even can, but if you process those products, invest in a juicer. So I took all of those peach skins and peach pits, put them in a juicer, and I let them cook, and I got just shy of half a gallon of peach juice. And I use that peach juice for tea, put it in tea. You can put it in icings for cakes. You can do a lot with it. You can just drink it as peach tea. My apple juice or peach juice, my apple juice I can. And I have a recipe coming up next where we did Vidalia onion jam and it called for apple juice. So I was able to use some of my own apple juice in order to use that. I have a couple recipes that call for apple juice, like soups that call for apple juice. And so I have my own apple juice on the shelf. So it's the same with peach juice. And if I hadn't had apple juice for my onion jam, I would have used my peach juice. So there's just a way to take something you already have that would normally be going in the compost bin and making another product out of it so you get more bang for your buck and you're not wasting as much. So that's what I'm going to do after this, but I wanted to show you what we have going on here. Let me bring you down. So friends, this is a juicer. And so it's 3 parts. So you have this section here, and this holds all of the pulp that we have created from all of our peach products. This part is where the juice is collected, and down here we have some water. So you want to make sure that this hopefully doesn't run out of water, and the juice is so hot. The juice is going to be right here. So I want to go make sure I get you some hot pads and make sure that we still have some water in here, and then we'll see what our juice level looks like. Okay, let's check the water level. Oh, we're still plenty full. Oh, great. Okay. Let me bring you over and show you closer. So you can see. Oops, wrong one. Wrong one. Look at all of that juice. So this is why I say invest in a juicer. All of this that's in there would have 1,000% been trash, been composted, and now we get a second product out of it. So if you ever do apples, you ever do peaches, pears, any sort of stone fruit, invest in a juicer. It takes the garbage and makes it into another product, which is fantastic. So I'm going to let that go. I'm going to get this cleaned up. We are going to jar that up. I'm just going to put that into jars. I'm not going to can it tonight. I do can that fruit juice. I'm not going to can it tonight. That might be a tomorrow project. I forget what I can it for, but I think I do 4 to 25 minutes water bath. And then they'll be good on the shelves to add to iced tea, kombuchas, icings, into anything I really want. So we're just going to let that continue to cook and get all that juice out of there. I'm going to get this table cleaned up and this all passed up. This setup, the table will stay out, but the rest of the stuff will go into the garage. This is our outdoor cooking setup for the rest of the summer. It's not as nice as an outdoor kitchen. I really want an outdoor kitchen. This is not a pretty background, but you can't have it all. And we're making the most with what we have. And before we go outside, I also wanted to show you when we did our big harvest and we got cabbage and tomatoes, we also did our last harvest of beets. And these I have peeled and sliced. I'm going to throw these in the oven. A little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, and I'm going to make a roasted beet with some feta cheese, some spring mix, and then I have some peaches and put some peaches in, and then balsamic glaze on top. So kind of make like a roasted beet, peach, feta cheese salad thingy. So we harvested the rest of these beets, and this is what we got from that last beet harvest. So I think I did a total of 3 medium-sized harvests, and I don't think that's bad. I pickled beets, and I got enough pickled beets for my pantry for the year. And then I've been eating them roasted, like on a salad like this, all summer. So I've really been enjoying that. So I'm really happy with this last nice beet harvest. So now, let's go down the garden and talk about the fall garden. It feels like fall right now. It feels so nice outside. I have all the windows open and I'm really just enjoying this cooler weather. It has been a really hot summer, so I'm more than ready for fall. I don't want the garden to go anywhere, but I also think my garden would benefit from some cooler weather because it is quite hot out, or it has been quite hot out. Okay, so let's talk fall. So this area here is where I put the brassicas in the spring. It got destroyed by the slugs. I put brassicas there again this year, or this fall. Is so much of my garden here. I'll kind of give you a little bit of a rotation. So much of the garden is still planted that I don't have a lot of place to move my plants around in the size that I need. So we're just kind of reusing some spaces that we used in the spring. Okay, so this bed here was my potato bed in the fall. It is, or my potato bed in the spring. It is my potato bed in the fall as well. And I have some potatoes I'll bring you down and show you that have just started to pop up. So within the next week or two, we should be having this whole bed hopefully get filled in with some potatoes. And at the end, I'll show you again a bit closer. At the end, I did plant some lettuce starts that I had. Now, one of the things with a fall garden, in my area at least, it is really hot. Brassicas and fall plants like cooler weather. They don't like weather, or they don't like temperatures typically over 80 degrees. So I have never honestly had great success with a fall garden because of that reason. So what you'll see when I show you my lettuce is I planted very pretty lettuce. It is not very pretty lettuce anymore. It really took a hit. I did have these guys sitting outside for the last probably 2 weeks. So they were hardened off, but it's still just too hot for them. So they did take a big hit, but they are starting to come back. And so I'm still hopeful that even though they took a bit of a hit, especially as we move into September and the cooler weather, they will really start to come back. And they just gotta kind of hang on into the cooler weather, and then we can hopefully be harvesting lettuce in October and November. Now this area here, let me spin you. This area here, like I said, was where I had the spring brassicas. And I still have a couple big ones you can see. Still a couple big ones. I'm leaving these go in hopes that they give me plants. This guy here, this guy is quite big. He can come out. But if we look at this guy can be harvested. He looks great. So we might even harvest him today and have him with a roasted beet salad. But I have some back here. I just have a couple of different plants. I'm kind of just letting the ones that haven't produce in hopes that they're going to produce. And then if we come back, you can see right down there, I have my cabbages. So I did plant some regular cabbage and some Napa cabbage. And I'm now seeing that this is my Napa cabbage. I never got it all in the ground. I think I stopped. So I got to go put this in the ground. So these plants definitely require more water than the rest of my garden. So at this point, this garden, or the brassicas and the lettuce, are getting watered every single day unless it rains. Because they, like I said, they are going to struggle with this heat. And so that's why I have this shade cloth on the brassicas. Because I want to be able to hopefully kind of keep these guys going as long as I can. So I just have the shade cloth on, and I think that is helping the brassica. So I have cabbage, broccoli, and then I have those Napa cabbages I need to put in the ground. Again, everything went in. I had everything kind of in the shade of my garage. When I put everything in, it did get a little bit of a shock. Again, that's what happens when you go from shady to sun. Every time I tried to put them in the direct sun, they did instantly wilt. So like I said, I've never had a great success with a fall garden just because it's too hot, it's too much sun, and the plants don't like it. But I'm feeling confident this year in hopes that the shade cloth can keep this area safe. And then lettuce does grow so quickly. Let me show you. I have these lettuces here. They have definitely seen better days. But you can tell, especially in this one here, how they're starting to come back. Like this looks terrible, but he's starting to come back there. They look bad, but they're standing up and they'll start putting out some new leaves here soon. And then let me show you the potatoes. Oops. Then let me show you the potatoes. So we have that potato there and that one there. And so hopefully we continue to get potatoes growing in this patch. So like I was saying, lettuce does grow so quickly that even if those lettuces would die, I could probably plant lettuce end of September and be harvested in October and November. So I'm not really worried about that right now. We can keep going with that. The brassica area, we're gonna do something different this year. When cold weather comes, I am gonna cover that whole place with plastic. So I'll probably move some lettuces in there. I want to see if I can't have some sort of winter growing if I enclose that whole area with a heavy duty plastic, kind of make like a greenhouse out of it, and see if I can't extend my growing season. So that's the plan for that space. But as of now, we are just watering those brassicas and keeping some shade on them. Definitely, we have, I don't know if you could see them flying around, I'm sure you could. We do have aphids. Cabbage moths have found my plants, my brassicas. We're going to go with it right now and see what we can do. We have neem oil that we can spread around, or we could spray if we need to. But I'm hoping they'll maybe focus on the bigger plants and leave the babies alone. And I don't really know, so we're going to see. More fall planting. This is my pea trellis. I emptied out this whole pea trellis. I pulled all the dead plants that was from the spring, and I planted new spring peas or new peas down below. So that is hopefully going to be some fall peas. And then I also planted carrots. So I have some beds here, and then I have one up there. And you'll see I have cardboard on them. I have cardboard on them in an effort to keep the soil from drying out too much. Carrots need moist soil in order to germinate. And if they didn't have cardboard on them, they would not germinate. So I'm hoping that the cardboard helps keep them moist. And then when I come in to water, I'll water the top of the cardboard so it'll soak through the cardboard, hopefully, and not wash my carrot seeds away. So I have a much better carrot harvest. And what I do with my carrots is right now I'll grow them and I will let them completely go all winter. They will stay in the garden, and then as I need them through winter, I'll come pull them out. I have pulled carrots in the middle of snowstorms. I have dug through snow to get to my carrots, and by storing them in the ground, it works as a like a root cellar. So that's my favorite way to do carrots. Then I'm not preserving carrots. I'm not worried about canning carrots. They're just out in the garden. You got to go dig some up, and I think that works out perfectly. So I did 3 beds of carrots. I don't have great success growing carrots. I've grown carrots. I've grown a lot of carrots, but I have about like a 20% success rate when I grow my carrots. So I'm hoping with the addition of the cardboard that helps me with my carrots. So let me show you the aftermath of all my cracked tomatoes from the hurricane. Look at all of those tomatoes. So what happened is every single tomato on my plant burst. It all cracked. And they weren't even like small cracks. They were big, big cracks. You can see right there. Right there is some. So these cracks, every single one was burst. Not just burst, or not just cracked, but burst. You know, like, and they're still burst. So I went through and I shook the whole plant shook all the plants to help drop the cherry tomatoes that had burst off of them. If I had left the cherry tomatoes on the plants, it would signal to the plant, hey, they're not harvesting anymore. We don't need to send out more fruit. The plant's whole purpose is to set seed, to reproduce. And so there's tons of seeds in these cherry tomatoes that if you leave them on the plant thinks, okay, we got tons of seed out there. We're good. We don't need to set any more. So even though these burst, I definitely want to get them off. And these plants are strong and resilient. I literally gave them the shake of their life, and they dropped all of their tomatoes to the ground. These could absolutely 1000% set up a whole bunch of tomato volunteers. I love a volunteer garden, but I am kind of so anal about weeds that I pull everything regardless of what it is. So I don't actually get a lot of volunteers because I weed so much. So if you're not into weeding, you wouldn't necessarily want to do this. You might want to go pick up your tomatoes, but I'm not that worried about it. So I know that I'll pull any volunteers that happen to come in the spring. So I think that is mainly what I wanted to show you. That's the fall update. So what we have in the garden, we have broccoli, cabbages, lettuces. We planted peas. We planted carrots. You would also have beets if you want to do another round of beets. I'm not going to because I think I'm good there. So those are what I intend to hopefully get for a fall harvest. But now let's just look around. I'm looking, I have a pepper here I need to pick. So now let's just do a quick kind of garden walk. Ooh, we have a couple of peppers to pick. Look at this. So these are my favorite peppers. These are orange yummy peppers, or lunchbox snack peppers. Fill these with pepper jack cheese and some olive oil, and they are delicious. So I have plants absolutely loaded with these, and what I do with these is I freeze them. I freeze them whole, and then when you get them out, you just slice them down and then fill them with cheese. I can't really see the camera anymore. It got really sunny. But here we have our corn patch. Our corn has been harvested. So there's really no corn left on the plants. But now I'm just leaving the corn cobs there. And then I'm going to use these for fall decorating. So I'm just going to let them die there. I might actually come harvest them sooner rather than later. I might harvest them before they're dead and let them die once they've been harvested, just so I can maybe start getting this area cleaned up. But these I'm excited about to use for some fall decorating. And then this area here is our pepper patch. So I have some orange yummies right here, and then back under the arch I have a whole bunch of banana peppers. And I see a whole bunch of banana peppers on those plants, so you might need to go pick them soon. Not today, because I didn't bring a basket. You never come into the garden without a basket, and I do it all the time. And I know that this is not a thing that you do. So coming over here, my tomato patch, this is not the tomato year for me, which is okay. Try to get the hair away from the mic. I don't know how to trellis tomatoes. I haven't found a way that I like to trellis tomatoes. So I tried something new this year. It was also a massive failure. What happens is my plants, as you can see, they're not tall. I'll take you over a little bit closer. Plants should be up here. So the majority of the plants are growing on the ground, which means my fruit is laying on the ground, which means I do have bugs and rabbits that are eating the fruit. So I'm 125% not having the harvest I normally have. But last year I made a heavy effort to preserve all of my tomato products for at least 2 years. And that I did in case I would have a year where I didn't have a great harvest. So I didn't worry about not being able to stock my shelves. So I'm not having a great harvest, and this is 100% my fault. I didn't trellis the tomatoes up effectively. I tried something new, it failed, you live and you learn. I still am getting a nice harvest. I see some down here. Yeah, I still am getting a nice harvest of tomatoes, enough that I have plenty for fresh eating, enough that I have made chili base already. I'm gonna make a batch of salsa here soon. So I'm still getting a great batch of tomatoes, but I'm 100% not getting what I should be getting, and that's okay. That's why we did the heavy preservation last year. And then next year, I already know I'm going to put my tomatoes in a row behind you. and we're going to try a different way of trellising them. One of these years, we're going to find out how to trellis our tomatoes. But this is why trellising is so, so important. Okay, a couple of other things I want to show you is we have this massive mess here. This is beans all up there, sweet potatoes down below, and a couple weeds and morning glories in the mix. I am loving the morning glories here though. I do think they add a great pop of color. I didn't plant them. I don't necessarily want them because they do take over everything, but I'm not hating them. But I did want to show you, so we have here, you can see right there, first of all, we have two beautiful peppers that are looking fantastic. And we have peppers in this mess too. I wanted to show you down here, our peppers are starting to turn red. And I am so, go away Thistle, I'm so ready for these guys to turn red. But these peppers in here are looking great. And then come over to this one. There is, look at that ginormous pepper here. This plant is really loving life. I've already gotten a few off of him, but these peppers are doing great. Obviously there is a lot of grass in here, a lot of weeds, and with the August garden, I call it the August curse, the weeds go bonkers. And first of all, you can't really keep up with the weeds. Your priority is harvesting. Your priority is taking care of your plants and processing what you harvest into things, so it's not just going to waste. So the weeding takes a back burner. However, I will say, if you look at the rest of this garden, okay, the strawberry bed needs weeded. Ignore that. But the rest of the garden overall actually isn't in a really bad place. This is a mess. And it's a mess for 3 reasons. Number one, I have sweet potatoes. That there's a path here that you can't see. That path has been taken over by the sweet potatoes. So I'm really, really excited to harvest them. I'm really hopeful for the best sweet potato harvest of my life. And then you have beans that I put the fence too far back. So even up here, you can see I have beans, but they're not necessarily growing on the fence. They're kind of growing out and around. And so I have beans down here, and these are all shelling beans for dry beans. So this massive mess is actually plants. It's plants I planted for food. Now there is a lot of weeds. What happened is I was on these weeds. I was taking care of them, but when you pull grass sometimes has a deep root, and some of this grass has a solid root. It's not deep, but it's like wide. And so what would happen is when I pull a weed, I would pull a plant. I'd pull a sweet potato, or I'd pull a bean plant, and I was losing too many plants from pulling the weeds that I had to stop pulling the weeds so I didn't sacrifice all of my plants. So that's something that you may have to do at some point, is just let the weeds go so you're not sacrificing your plants. But know that when we go to put this together, this garden looks a mess. I promise it comes together so easily. I will harvest all of these sweet potatoes. These weeds were not here. They were not here 4 months ago. So the roots are very, very small. So they'll come out very easily. And what we'll do is we'll pull everything. It'll take an hour tops. I promise you it does not take long. And then we'll come lay cardboard, straw, mulch leaves, and we'll completely cover this space with a nice layer of mulch. And within 2 hours, this whole space will look completely different, and won't look so messy anymore. So it is overwhelming to see this garden kind of going crazy, but we can take it back very easily, I promise. I did want to show you though my pretty white hollyhock that bloomed. I planted a whole bunch, and I have one over there that's also starting to bloom, or it is actually finishing blooming. But I'm loving the hollyhocks. I had a big black one here. I need to look up. I know I need to cut those, but I'm pretty sure the hollyhock will keep coming back, right? Like now it's a perennial, and will it bloom? So this is its second year, and it didn't bloom last year. It bloomed this year. So now will it bloom every year, or will it bloom on a 2-year basis, 2-year rotation? I need to look that up. But I am starting to have all of my sunflowers bloom. So I always plant these see. I can't really see. It's too sunny, but there's sunflowers back there. I always plant sunflowers in the garden. I like flowers in the garden, period, for bringing in the bees to help with my pollination. And I planted a whole bunch of seeds, and literally none of them started germinating until a week ago. I don't know why. I don't know the issue. I wasn't weeding them. I wasn't pulling them. You can see here's a great big cluster. So there's a great big cluster, and you can kind of see the morning glories there too. And here's my cute little pond being overtaken by sweet potatoes. So yeah, so I don't know why the sunflowers took as long as they did to pop up, but they did. But at least they're coming now. And then my green bean arch, that's also been struggling. It's been growing very slowly, but everyone else in my life and around the world is harvesting green beans right now, and I have none. So my green beans have just started to grow really in earnest and to put off flowers. So I am really looking forward to eat green beans from my freezer. So I'm really hoping that the next week or two I'll be overrun with green beans, because that arch is finally starting to look, where is it? Somewhere over there. I can't really see the screen. It's really starting to look good. So that's exciting. And then here is my flower farm. These are the sunflowers, looking stunning. I 100% planted the wrong sunflowers for cut flowers, but I'm not upset about it. I think they look really, really pretty. And then these sunflowers here were the second round of sunflowers, and they are just starting to take off. So they should be coming in anytime soon. So I think that is a summation of what I wanted to show you guys in the 2 lost videos. So I want to say thank you guys so much for joining me. I will see you guys on the next video. Hopefully those fall plants are successful, and hopefully we don't have any more technical malfunctions. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.